learn the invisible ingredients to success. And here's how it works. We're gonna approach the topic from both marketing and accounting perspectives, because these are the two major driving forces for business growth. And Lindsay and Jerry, they will draw on their experiences in the current client cases or past cases, and share some insights about what are some of the invisible ingredients to our success. Yes. Okay, so now you know success is the key word for tonight, and I wish this is the key word for you all in 2019 as well. I'm a bit nervous tonight. Okay. So before I ask my first question, would you both give us a bit of introduction or brief intro about your companies and then the type of clients that your company serve?
Jerry, you go first.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jerry. We are a accounting firm based in Brisbane, Southside. I think 8 years since we started business. We started about 2011. At that time, I'm an accountant, graduate. I just try to find something to do, and then all my business friends and also family friends, they all started their own business. Then they come to me, ask for some help with understand their business financial statement here and there. I think simple. Just the reason the accountant already done 80 or 99% of the work they need to do. They just need that 10 minute, 20 minute to explain the financial, putting something into a plain language which the manager or the client actually paying for. I find that's the big market for them. Then I quit my job and start the accounting firm with one client and myself. And then actually just from last year, we done a Christmas party. Before the party, of course, I have to talk a lot. And then we show the team how we go through from last 8 years. Every 3 years at one stage. First 3 years startup. It's more like we try to learn what we can do, what the client want, what the standard we should do. Pretty much we take on everyone we can do. And then the second 3 years is more like we try to build up the team. Because that's when Crystal joined us. She's our tax manager. During that time, we standardize and make our standards high and make sure we understand all the figure, all the report out is high quality. And then third year is currently we're in. We're 2 years into it. Now we try to see if we keep growing, we have to work overtime, extremely hard. So what's next? So we all got a family. The reason why I started business is because I believe that accounting firm should be more like more like an organization, putting all the people together, working a common goal to reach at least some positive outcome for the society, for the family. So I think if we keep working hard and over time, that's not what we want. So we start to invest in system, and also we not only take on the extra market from the competitor, but we also looking at how we broaden the market. Accounting is more like a central of a lot of business running. So we access to a lot of area service. So we start to open up. So we start to organizing a valuation service, a few other services, more like IT system consulting. So everything built around the business is still central with the compliant service, but we try to broaden our service, which give us a bit of extra income. So far, the major clients are in agribusiness, education, medium, small business. So more like the client we really want service is we have a common goal. They understand the value of the service we're providing. Otherwise, we're keeping us chopping down the price, which we can't sustain our quality of service. So once we understand we have a really good relationship, everyone happy, because most of the time we spend maybe 8 hours a day sleep at home. Most of the time we spend the time working with colleague or working with a client. So we won't be happy. So we have to create a positive environment for everyone work together. Yeah.
Great.
Very
So
easy.
I studied Meow Media 3 years ago. Before that, I worked both on the client side and also on the agency side as a marketing specialist. So during my work experience, there are just quite a few discoveries. Firstly, I see there's this general skill level of digital marketing in Australia is not that advanced. And the client side, they have a lot of frustrations and they have business requirements, but it's not followed through by the agencies. And then on the agency side, because still a lot of work is time-based, we make money by putting time into it, and there's lots of automation that needs to be done and a lot of good value proposition that needs to be recommended to the client, and it's not being done that often either. But most importantly, I think the idea of starting my own business is that I see the gap between Chinese businesses wanting to get into local overseas market, as well as overseas businesses such as like Australian local businesses trying to get into the Chinese community globally because they see how many affluent Chinese immigrants are flooding into overseas countries every year. And there's just a bridge that needs to be done on both sides. And we want to be the kind of agency that help people do that. So in the past 3 years, in the first 2 years, we're mostly developing clients in Australia, so helping Australian businesses get into Chinese community and the Chinese businesses to open up Australian market. In the third year, we were able to deliver the service to clients in North America, mainly USA and Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Korea, and also China as well. So I think the beauty of our business model is we're not limited geographically. We're in Brisbane. It's not that much of a metropolitan city, but because the things that we do, we deliver on the cloud and we use tools to communicate with clients, and we don't charge much, and we don't have lock-in contracts. To them, it's a very low risk to take, even though that 95% of the clients, they've never met us, but once they tried us for 2 weeks to 4 weeks, they know how we're like and the standard that we deliver our services. So yeah, and I'm pretty happy with the fact that I can see a very clear scalability with the business model, and we're just going to build on what we've built in the past 3 years and keep on growing.
Awesome. So through your working experience, what is the most interesting client or industry that you've served?
Jerry, go.
Okay. Interesting. I think they're all pretty interesting because a lot of business, when we started and about a few years back, they all start from scratch. There's a lot of them, they got an idea, they want to start a lot of them I never thought they're going to success. Like Daigou I never saw a business, they're buying formula or they can build up to $1 million business per month, which is crazy. And they are the interesting one, and also the other one I really enjoy doing is the one we've been working on with Michael is agribusiness. They're on the back of Australia. The people there are so nice, and they got a Chinese investor into the business, and they find a way to communicate each other without much language. A lot of them Chinese investing, they come into Australia, they understand some of English, but when they went to a small town, the slang, they're just so hard to understand. But they still communicate, they still find a way to get together well. And also we have to learn a lot of things, how they grow it, and how they control the quality. A very old-fashioned system, but it's just so effective. How much water they control, how much pet they're going to get rid of, and the way the Australian farmers, the way they're so proud of their product and the quality. If they see some product issue, they get rid of them straight away, destroy them without going out the door from Australia. That make me so respectful for the culture over there. Yeah.
Well, Our most interesting clients gotta be this Japanese client. They sell 3D printers. Like before I knew this client, I kind of had an understanding of what 3D printers can do. But wow, it was eye-opening. There's this really well-known funeral house in Shanghai, Baboshan. So that one, they use their 3D printers for what? To print. No, to print faces of the passed away. So traditionally when funeral houses, before they do the funeral and then send people away, they have to have their own staff members to do a very thorough makeup to make sure that the body looks as lively as possible and presents good for the final set off. But then there's hygiene reasons, because staff members long time they have to cover themselves up and then take time to do the makeup, and also it's not very efficient that way. But with the 3D printer my Japanese client provides, it was so detailed and then so high tech. It can, all they need is a photography of the passed away, and then they print exactly how that face looks like, and all they need to do, and the client, all they need to do is to put this 3D printed face on top of the body. Job done.
Wow.
So that's like, I had no idea. So that was definitely the most interesting client we've had. Personally, I think so, and they're doing so well. It's just because not just for funeral houses, for medical specialists, that printing people's artificial limbs. You can't buy that out of shelf because everybody's limbs are kind of different. So it has to be to the specs, and that's the kind of thing they do. And we're very happy that we can be part of that. Yeah.
Wow.
Very interesting. It's always good to learn something new, hey?
Yeah.
So my next question, if you don't mind me ask, what is the most absurd or say not easy to handle client or industry that you provide services for?
Me again? Okay. I think they're all pretty nice. When they come to us, they come through referral. Most of the client pretty hard to start with. More like if Chinese client, when we got 80% market from Chinese client or Chinese culture client, or they have connection to China. When the first thing they come in, we have to spend some time to learn, teach them how to do it, win the trust. Once we got the trust built up in the 2-3 years time, quite easy. But a lot of really difficult one is they heard something from their friend. Oh, my friend got a family trust. Okay, yeah, what that for? Protection. What were you going to protect for? Oh, protect my house from bad people. Then they want a family trust set up, but this guy probably going to be just salary earner. They just say their friend got it, they don't want it, and then we have to spend time to unwind them from the alert they build up to. And then last few years we closed up a lot of super fund, self-managed super fund, because they only have cash into the super fund. It's not worthwhile good for accountant, good income, very compliant, very clean, easy to deal with, but it's not good for return, not for investor. So this the guy, when they listen to different source of information, very hard to. Yeah, we've spent those money not recoverable. It's more like it's not a proposal. We have to say that it's not something they're not supposed to do. It's something we not recover. So there's no money, and then we have to spend time to deal with. Yeah.
Well, I can give 2 examples.
2.
Yes. I'll talk about the absurd part first, because I think it's a subjective word. I think it's an absurd business. You might not think so. So they're a museum, but it's not just a typical museum that you would often see. They have things like shrunken heads. Does anyone know what shrunken heads is? Yeah. So it's a tribal method of shrinking people's head from that big to like that big for religious and ritual purposes. So they have things like shrunken heads. They have Elvis Presley's hair certified in a frame on display too. They have Abraham Lincoln's hair as well. So that kind of museum. we haven't started servicing them yet because they only signed up this week. I'm so looking forward to it. So that's the absurd client that we've so far had. But with like the not easy to deal with part, I think it's mostly with some of the early on companies when they're not quite established and then they're still changing ideas. They haven't tested the market. That's the type that we need a lot of time to try to assess if we can help them or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So now would you both please also give us an example about the most successful client that you've had? I mean, the very most impressive one.
Oh, okay. The most impressive client. Well, I think it comes back to how we define success. We have clients who's making millions of dollars, but he's super stressful. And there are also clients that you look, financially beautiful, but then it's constantly being very suspicious because living in a suspicious state and thinking everybody is there to get them. So I don't see that type of clients as successful in my way. But I do have one client. I think he's more like a role model to me. It's a great real estate agency, very responsible, has a very successful restaurant, and also very popular. High score, TripAdvisor, Zomato, Google reviews, Facebook reviews. You probably know. Yeah. So, and mostly I think from inside out, he's just a very happy and positive person. Very much so. Very family oriented, great family, life, health, work balance, keeping a very good pattern. So yeah, I think that's the kind of successful entrepreneur that I want to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, that'd be good. Get kids first. Yeah, for me, it's just it's still the same client. When they started, she was our neighbor next door. She called me one day about 4 o'clock, and then she called me, "Oh, can you come to my office for help?" And say, "Yeah, we've been know each other for a while, say hi all the time, but we never talked too much." Then okay, I'll just come over. Then I went over to her office and say, "Oh," she said she got the situation. She's been doing the business for many years, but haven't done any bookkeeping or tax return. When I picked her up, and she got about 2-3 employees. Company is making a loss about 50 grand at least because she got employee, not much income. Then okay, it's just going to be a difficult case, so probably going to do them as a friend or favor. Last year, she held a global conference for her company. Only 3-year time, she got from no student to about 3,000 students, 200 employees. Also, more interesting is that her husband is working on a training organization for the drone. So all the government emergency center like Army, they start to put on some drone into the front pack. They got a LCD just open up, then drone can fly out to search for emergency or investigating, and also emergency health service. They start to recruit them, use them as a provider for training. So, and then they got 2 dogs. Then they live in not far from me still. They just so humble. Just you never thought they're going to do something like that. Just in such a short time. But they did it, and they got. And even today, they're so easy to talk to. They trust people. They're busy, but they trust people. If they talk to, they give you delegate. She asks you to do something, she always trusts you. Just give you confidence for doing things for her. So just. So wonderful, yeah.
From heaven,
yeah.
So for those successful clients that you mentioned, what are some of the success factors that you guys observed from them? And also among those factors, what do you think is the one that you don't often see in other clients?
I'm just gonna say, feel free to sit in the front. There's so much space, and this is a small room, so it might have a lot of heat. Success factors. So I would say, well, there are a lot of words that we often hear in books, in media, like commitment, resilience, hardworking, optimistic, integrated. They're all success factors. But if I have to say one thing that I can see from this successful client that I've just mentioned, which is rarely seen in other clients, I think it's compassion. So for him, I can see just his compassion for not only his team members, but also his clients and his suppliers, which is us. And because of that, like it's how he treats everybody as human beings. And when we're communicating with him, there's no power distance, but it doesn't mean that, you know, it reduces any level of respect we have for him. So I think that's how you win people's heart, because in business, at the end of the day, we're still dealing with people, you know, human beings. And when you're treated with compassion, you want to, you know, come back with more. You know, we want to do more things for you too. So I think that's one success factor that's not very common in other clients that we serve.
Yeah, I will agree. Totally agree. Just compassion. Just so many things is different. Maybe sometimes it's lucky and you got things to do. Success maybe just overnight. But if you don't have that thing, you're a human being. You're not treating people like yourself. It's very hard to get people understand what your worldview for what you're going to do, what's right, what's wrong. Everyone has been junior staff. I've been an accountant, worked for someone. I've made my mistake before. If people can take the ownership, everything back to themselves. If something wrong, if you blame someone else, the problem never going to fix. If you say, okay, that's my fault, I take the ownership, I'm going forward. Let's fix the problem. It's so much easier for us to get over that problem. So yeah, I think once you think everyone are respectable and think everyone is your own people, lead the team, I think time has changed a bit. It used to be really harsh bosses, kind of driving people, kicking people ass, make sure they're doing things, overlook their shoulder. But now people just more like, you have to inspire people, make sure everyone understands what you want to do. Once you have the same vision, everything can be so much easier. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, the way I say it is the way you treat others says a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. So successful story is always inspiring, but it doesn't happen to everyone.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to ask the opposite. So would you both give us an example about the most unsuccessful client that you have or had in your past? And what do you think contribute to that unsuccessfulness?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just can be hard ones. Just,
Do you want to go first?
yeah. Well, I think just a lot of them we find difficult. When we deal with the business, we've gone through so many business. Very hard to say one day or next day where things going to be, but a lot of time we can feel it just because we read the financial report. We know there's something not right. When you talk to the leadership, when you talk to the team, you feel the culture or something is there. Just the people not trusting each other. Everyone blame each other, point the finger. You straight away you tell the business not going anywhere unless something fundamentally change inside the business. The culture, the build up the muscle, team working together. For the leadership, I don't know how the biggest failure is so far that when they're investing a lot in Australia, they not respect to the local culture. China doing things differently. They got their own way. We respect that. But when they come to here, Australia, I'm a migrant, but we got system here. We got things to do and certain way to do things. Sometimes slow, but they got a way to do it. More like my parents, when they come here, they say, "Oh, why you fix up the gateway again?" It's been ages. It's been 3 years now. Still not been finished. I think, well, China maybe got fixed up the road in a month or 2 months, but they may replace that again in the next couple of years. But once we build a gateway, they just last for 10, 20 years. Things different, and so once a lot of time they're not respectful for the culture here. They make a lot of assumptions. before they make a decision, that a lot of times can lead a lot of failure. I think consultation, more like business, if they're investing something here in like a business, they got some respect for, it's more like advisor, legal team, doing things they need to be. So I think that's something.
Yeah. The most unsuccessful client that I've had gotta be this one who, I think, well, the characteristic that led to the unsuccessfulness is lack of focus. This happens especially to early stage business owners and startups. They have great ideas. So when he firstly approached to us, he had a great idea, and then we really wanted to help him to make it happen. But as the idea originator, and he didn't stick to it. He instead of testing in the market, getting some feedback, and then come back and iterate the product, and go to the market again, he didn't go through that process. He basically he thinks, this is not gonna work. I'm gonna try something else. We did get like 3 projects from him, all 3 different business ideas. So for us, it was good income, but we just can't see a long-term longevity with this business prospect, because he's just, the idea flows on like too quickly and he can't stick to it, And that kind of really is for any entrepreneurs, that's really a killer. If you're lack of focus, if you don't think things through, it's not going to end really well. So, and I see that traits in many clients in the past. This one is a little extreme, a bit typical, but mostly early stage companies, they tend to be like that.
Yeah, because a lot of people try to service everyone, make everyone happy, try to design something, feed everyone, but it's just impossible. I think now we got access to internet, we can survive by serving a very niche market, a very, very small market. We can survive on that. A business more like a team of 10 or something, just a small client base, maybe 20, 50 clients to start with, to survive. If you just focus on too many things, just too much waste.
So if you identified another prospect who has like maybe lack of focus, something like that, would you still try to approach that?
So if you've identified some unsuccessful prospects, are you still going to help them?
Depend if we can help, if they got money, we could try. But the thing is, if you see them, we did some volunteer work, more like we know there's something we can't recover, but we're still doing it because it's more like a truckie he's running a sole trader tow company. He got really bad health, the kidney almost failure, about 20% still. He ran a business, tried to survive from everything. We know there's no way they can recover the accounting fee, but she just, because the business, the family is so bad into it, they've got family issue, they're divorcing. We help them regardless, because we know we can do something, could survival, because we talk to the bank, try to get a home loan, refinance, and that sort of thing, which is some basic, but we can help. We need them help about 2 years. After that, they just too bad. We just do, they still have to declare the bankrupt for the personal, but they still okay. But because they through the bankruptcy process, they recover some basic living expenses. They're still okay. But for us, when we see something is not going to work out, we'd rather not to, because we're going to be the one to get blamed anyway. Like, oh man, accountant never told me. Yeah, hang, I wrote your email 10 years ago, but we got to blame anyway, because my team is very respectful. Once we got a client, we will help them. We will say, once we say yes, we will help them regardless. Once I sign an engagement, the client sign an engagement, the client will have access to my team. My team will help them to through the way. By the end of the day, if something doesn't work out, we got to blame anyway. So if we see something like that, I just try to protect my team. Just say no, we can't help you.
This is a really good question. I think, well, in the first year of our business, you know how first-year business are like. Everything is opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, good clients, bad clients. As long as there's opportunity, we'll pursue it. But then we learned hard way that how time-consuming it can be if you end up with a client who is not quite a perfect fit for your business. So from the second year onwards, we're having some pre-qualification criteria for the kind of clients that we want to work for, but it doesn't mean that we practice it so strictly that we, come up with a checklist, and then if they don't check, then we don't serve. It's not like that. So we still have a good conversation with everyone who phones us or submits an inquiry. We try to understand like which stage their business is at. If they're not quite there yet, they're not quite prepared in investing in their brand and then a good solid digital marketing strategy yet, then we give them advice from other business perspectives. Because we, as a marketing agency, accountancy agency as well, we see so many clients and so many industries, and then we kind of can figure out some of the patterns and trends that which stage is this business is at, and what are the factors that they need to consider at different stages. So I tend to take that approach when I feel like, well, my agency can't help you at the moment, but I'm so more than happy to give you some other business advices to make sure that we build a goodwill with this particular client. Yeah. 5 years later, even 6 months later, this particular client might grow into the type that we are going to have, like maybe the ideal type for us. So definitely every communication window, especially early on communication windows, we need to grab that and then building our brand reputation from that beginning point, and then just wait.
Yeah.
If they don't follow through, and if they can't last very long in the business, and then they still can be a brand agent for us. When people are asking about them, do you know any good digital marketing suppliers? They'd be like, well, Meow Media. Yeah. So that's the approach that we take at the moment with not so successful prospects. Yeah.
So, Lindsay, to continue, from a marketing perspective, what does the marketing looks like for a very successful business?
Very good question. So a lot of the business owners, I can say maybe the majority of the business owners in this world see marketing as a cost center. So when they run into problems, financial crisis or company cash flow problems, the first thing they're going to think about cutting off marketing, because they see marketing as a cost center. And there's a good reason for that, is because there's a lot of marketing wastage. If you see how marketing has evolved in the history, highly targeted marketing is only a phrase in recent years. So before that, it was TV, print, radio advertising. You choose a media, you put money in there, and then you wish that it's gonna work. So it's like a machine gun, a bit of overkill. You might hit the target, but you're gonna hit a lot of other things that's not quite relevant to you as well. But marketing now today, especially digital marketing, it's more like a sniper rifle. Yes, so you can pinpoint the type of audience you want to get, where they are, what's their lifestyle, what they're searching for. So it has become a lot more highly targeted, and marketing wastage because of that reason is reducing. This whole change is leading to marketing's strategic leadership in a business function. So to come back to your question, what marketing should look like in a business, in a successful business, it should definitely be the strategic drive for the entire business. Because it is like watering your garden. When there's a drought or when there's a crisis with your garden, the last thing you want is to turn off the tap. And marketing is that tap. It pushes out all this water into your garden, and you don't want to turn that off. So that's one thing. And then secondly, there is also a very important part of marketing, which is market research. Every time you do a marketing campaign, traditionally people would be like, okay, we're gonna do this campaign, executed. But now it's a top down, but now it's more of bottom up. Every time you do a marketing campaign, there's data feedback, and then you analyze this data. and then you optimize, come back to optimize either it's your product development or your next campaign strategy. So yeah, so the function itself, it needs to be lifted up, and in a successful business, you'll definitely see that marketing department is very proud because they know themselves being so strategically important, and they know they're the entire cash flow driver for the business as well.
Yeah.
And Jerry, for you, from the accounting perspective, what do you think makes a business successful?
Yeah, for accounting, is again, take the ownership. I know a lot of small or medium or even large business, they think the financial report is produced for accountant, but when we are the one to process, clean up, the end result is not for reporting to someone, it's actually let you know the numbers. Because all this number is belong to you. So you spend the money, spend the cost, you have to do something with it. Spend some time understand what the financial is, what the ratio or maybe the banker require, how much you can fund, just prepare for. And we know maybe the business got a lot of money today, something could happen. We are the one probably going to be, we have to be conservative. We'll give you a lot of opinions, some good and bad, but just get things prepared. Accounting is also changed as well. A lot of people saying we've been sticking with this accounting for 10 years now. It's too hard to change. It's not the days now. You just zero software accounting a mile. You can change accounting straight away if you need to, because you always outgrow your accountant, or your accountant outgrow you. It just depends how maybe after a couple of years, check again if the accountant is still fitting you. You growing, you have a different need. We growing, we have a different need. So the cost is so low to change and to swap. Just make sure you got someone to work with you very closely, suit your need. If you need a cost cheaper one, you can find a cheaper one easy. Plenty of online market. If you need someone to work on your market, what you want to improve your system, find the right one you need, just search on Google. Plenty of them. So when long you find them, just treat them like your own teammate. Just otherwise, you're wasting money. Any single dollar you spend on tax is waste. If you utilize, you should spend the money, get the right information out, help you. That's good investment. Yes.
Okay, so now we both know you guys have to work with a lot of clients, good work. So what do you think is a successful client-agent relationship?
I'll start. So I have 3 words for a successful client-agent relationship. The first one is appreciative. So coming back to what I talked about before was in business, we're still dealing with human beings. When we are being appreciated by the client, naturally we want to do more for them. It's just we can't help it because somebody give you compliments and you'd be like, oh, I want more compliments. So yeah, it's not a matter of fairness, like they all pay equal commission, but because we're appreciated more, we just want to do more. So I think not every client understands that. They think it's a trade, it's a transaction, but you're really dealing with humans. And on our side too, when we can't take things for granted. When clients are happy, and a lot of digital marketing services can be automated, doesn't mean that we can take a slack because things are working well for them, because with digital optimization there's always more optimization to be done. Even that this client's ROI is doing great and they're very happy, doesn't mean that we don't take that chunk of time in the week to make sure that they're doing even better the next day, next week. So that's appreciation from both sides, which is the key word for a successful client-agent relationship. Then the second one is collaborative. With marketing, we are responsible for digging out the gold from the client. A lot of clients, they don't know they have good content. They have a PR event or they have a new product offering. Product offering is pretty obvious, but they have like a good content readily to be publicized, but they don't know that just because they don't have the marketing sense in there. So it's a marketing agency's responsibility to find out what is shining with this client, and then making sure we switch that shining part to the front, and then making sure that like their customers see that as well. So that's the collaborative part, and we want the client to work with us more in order to achieve a better effect. Then the third word for a successful client-agent relationship is inspiring. I've learned so many things from my clients. I've often talked about these two girls of my age selling diamonds in Sydney. I've learned so much from them. Like, they are very hardworking. They have great ideas. Every time they come back to us, oh, can you add this section to my landing page so that my advertising traffic is converting better? I'd be like, I'm gonna do that for Meow Media as well. You know, it's just that kind of idea. Well, they inspire me so much, and and I'm glad that some clients think that we inspire them too, because when something is working well with one client, we can recommend to another client, do you want to try this? Because we've seen some successful cases. And for digital marketers, the last thing we want to be perceived as is a technician, because we do a lot of technical work. And then if we're a technician, you know, it's just a service provision, but we want to lift ourselves as thought leaders, and that's done through inspiring our clients, and then to transmit our knowledge in a plain language to be easily to be digested to the client, and then they'll feel like, wow, they're getting so much more than just a technical service provision from this digital agency.
That's good. Very good. Yeah, for me, it's same three words. First one, respectful. We come to different culture, different background. Australian more like a multicultural, very multicultural company or country. When the two culture come in, we still acting as the gel, or just make sure it's not like that. It's all open up, the clapping. We are the one try to make the two culture together. But if without respectful, without caring, listening, it just won't happen. Then also after that, it's going to be fair. Everyone work hard, and just once you got a fair return, to be fairful, we try to get every single client got fair tax return, and also fair treatment when they come into the new country. So that's very fundamental, but we have to be reward fairly. So we talk to the client, okay, we have done this much is we want the reward, and if they're respectful and they understand the concept, we have to spend that much time. Even though if sometimes we have the idea maybe in 2-3 hours, but we spend last 20-30 years to learn that, to reach this point. So something we will open up to the client, okay, if you're respectful and you understand this concept, we can easily work together. Then last thing probably going to be more important and going to be joy. You have to find the joy to work together, because my wife kept complaining I spend more time with my client than her. So I have to make sure I spend most of my time, my lifetime with someone or a group of people I want to work with, my team, and also my client. That's quite important part of my life too. So yeah.
Very good points. So you guys said 6 key points. What if a client-agent relationship didn't work out as expected? How will you take that to the success?
So we always try to steer client-agent relationship to a successful one, but it doesn't work every time, because just people are vastly different at times, and there are certain type of clients that we just can't achieve that, and we just have to accept that and live with it. But in general, I think if we make an effort, it's likely going towards that way. So firstly, we demonstrate that we're very committed, and we want to help them, not just on the service level. We will deliver everything we say we're going to deliver, plus we'll do more. So it's the part that going beyond, that's mostly easily to help you gain trust from a client. And then after that, I think the client would be more, they'll set aside time to collaborate with you because they want to work with you. They think that working with you help them work better and then help their company as well. Yeah, I think it's just like a building blocks. You gain more trust, and then you do more, and then the client likes you more, and then you start to really become really close. I heard many times from my entrepreneur friends that you should always have a very clear line between friends and clients, like a business relationship. I don't think so. Like I have so many clients who are just really good friends of mine. They we're connected on social media profile, and I don't have to behave in a certain way in front of them. They see me as an integrated me, my personal life, my professional life. This is me. And then I think in that way, if you present yourself, you're just coherent as a human being. And then when they're doing business with you, I think they tend to trust you more too, because they can see what they can expect too.
I think, agree. If you got entrepreneur, when you start business, you feel lonely sometimes. A lot of friends, you spend time with the client, a lot of time just your friend is your client is your friend. But you just, same thing is respectful. If you're doing family, just think a lot of things doesn't matter. But if you business, you never go to a friend restaurant out for a free meal every day. That won't be your friend really. But if you're helping each other find something valuable together, that is hard to find a line. If bad client, we did have one. Maybe the client got some issue, but sometimes it's maybe our issue. We're not fitting into their logic or the way they're doing things. Just really bad match. A couple of things happen. Even our accountant got some fight, but we find the issue, what the problem. First thing, just make sure we know what the issue is. Is there anything we can do to fix it? We may, in the past, we are human as well. We won't guarantee everything we've done is mirrorless. It's more like 100%. We've done mistake before. If we find it, if we know it, we tell the client we fix it. Doesn't matter how much cost. If we know the cost, we can recover. We recover it. But we open up. We told the client there's some issue. You have to fix it. Otherwise, you're going to have the issue. But even a lot of times they don't know it. But we have to find a thing to fix it. To build up the trust. I think if they're a good client, good friend, they understand. Even like the background, if you got some issue and then it's a bill and the things can be really big, we can consider if we chop them back. It's how we work this thing out and together. If they won't work out, they won't work out anyway. Yeah.
All right. Before I ask my last two questions, do you have any questions from the floor? Any questions? Then I'll keep on going. All right. From your point of view, what are some of the personality traits of successful business owners that you came across?
I'll keep it short. I think the very visible personality traits I can see from some of the successful entrepreneurs I came across, they're very composed. That's just, emotions control. They don't spill their emotions anywhere. Like when there's challenges and frustrations, they're staying very centered in self and then composed. Secondly, they have a general openness towards everything. They don't just get stuck into one detail and not moving on, or just, really trying to be stubborn about anything. So it's a general openness of knowledge and information. And then thirdly, they have their eyes on the prize, so they don't lose their focus. They know what's more important. And when they disagree with other things, they look at their bigger goal. If that's still on track, fine. Moving on.
Yeah. I don't know. Just in a lot of things, they're quite similar. Easy to deal with, and they're very humble. You never thought they're going to be a billionaire or something like that one day. It's just easy to talk to, easy approach. And probably in the normal way they call it leadership, but I think now people want to call that attraction. people standing there, you just feel the power, the attention going to them, and you won't talk to them, you won't deal with them more and more. Just, I don't know, you just feel just such a strong power. You can feel it straight away. Once you talk to them, deal with them for well, people won't work with them. That's quite strong power. I don't know how they got it, but it's very strong. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the secret of attraction. Now, my very last question. So, what is the one thing that you think is underestimated when it comes to be successful for business owners?
Can you say that again?
What is the one thing that has been underestimated in terms to become successful for a small business owner?
Okay, so like undervalued factor, understated factor for achieving business success. Okay. You want to go first?
I was thinking just say first in cash, but a lot of people say, oh, yeah, but people think, oh, we got a dream, we do it, and then we want 10 shop, 100 business open globally. Oh, show me the money. So one thing, cash, I think it's very tight. They have to plan well, just get things cash flow right. If a lot of time, cash is one thing, and then I think yourself. A lot of people think we can do this, we won't do that, and we won't do this next day, next year. But you are the limit a lot of time. The entrepreneur actually the limit. I found a lot of time is if you're good at something, the entrepreneur good at something, you probably the company's weakness point because he's good at it or she's good at that, but she thinks she will do it, he will do it, whole thing. Then you find out it doesn't work out a lot of time. You have to delegate, trust people can do a better job for you. If everything, all the weight carry on one person, just won't work out. Maybe 1 year, 2 years, maybe, but after that, how are you going to sustain? How are you going to grow? If the business grows, this person may be already burned out. I think protect yourself is more, invest in yourself and look after yourself is more important. So many people die so early. Just it's just not worth it. Not worth it.
Yeah. I think the most undervalued factor that's factor for achieving business success is compromise, because a lot of people has this view of how entrepreneurs going to be like, aggressive, tough, going out there to get things, be a taker. It's so not like that. It's about compromising. The things that you say no to, you are okay with not having it, which gives you, first of all, clarity of thoughts, because then you have fewer things to worry about. You get to prioritize better, which is just beauty, and you need that for your business. And also through this exercise of compromising, you just get to you get a clear, bigger picture of where you're going. Having so many things on your to-do list is never a good idea. And whether it's compromising, a client or a business relationship or your personal relationship, it all leads to a greater good. And you have to, keep on track of the things that you're compromising on. Is it lead to a greater good? And sometimes, I read a book and they say that, entrepreneurs at times you have to be a little bit selfish. Why? Because not everybody can see what you can see. And then, I sacrificed my time with my family in these 3 years, but 3 years later, everybody is going to be better off if I put my time on my work at the moment. I think that's the whole selfish topic coming from. Hence, also, I think compromise is, not often talked about in business books, how important it is to achieve success in the end.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the end of interview. Questions?
So one question for Jerry, and so
Yeah.
you're talking about cash. Some businesses, they go for loans with the bank, withdrawal commission, it's getting harder and harder. Basically, I see it as like the water's coming out, and with a lot of businesses, and you see who's got their hands down in the environment right now. other business, like when I started my business, I never loaned a single thing.
Yeah.
I just did natural growth.
Yeah.
Because you have that vast disparity of businesses that you're dealing with, what do you see as the best approach in that design?
Well, risk. I think when you got a loan, you have to work for someone else. It's you got a bank on your back, so you have to make sure you pay them first before you get your pay. And you have to understand if the bank is working in your favor. A lot of banks is really aggressive. Then they got your home loan, got your business loan first, and then next year they change their policy. Say, oh, hang up, guys, and we're not loaning to you now. How are we going to get the money? It's more like a partnership. They are loaning money for making money. Are they a healthy amount or ratio, or are they a healthy team to work together? We deal with some major loan. Sometimes when the client is a small loan, normally got a broker come in. The broker got better job than us. But if some very specialized client or in area, we deal with the bank on behalf of the client. We have to supply the number, negotiate with their product. A lot of products not on the market. They have to design a new market, new product for us. Then if we see some potential not going to fit or going to, sometime one day they may hurt our client, we'll warn the client. And clients still have to decide if they're going to work out for them. Are they going to take the risk? Are they working with this bank or the other bank? The bank sometimes is still person. By the end of the day, you still have to deal with some person. It's a creditor, credit department working with you. Are they support your project? Once they put in a lot of money in, they can't get out anyway. So they try to get you a better deal sometimes. But it's win-win relationship. Have to be win-win. Yeah. But just not my credit advice, but it's more like.
Any more questions? No more? All right, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.